What up? What up? What up? How's it going,
What's up,
Brandon?
everybody? It's going well. I hope everyone is doing well. Sorry for the day late. We had Mr. Wadid with his birthday last night, so he,
22,
the man
baby.
had
Come
to
on
had to
now.
party it up a bit.
Had to do my
So happy
thing.
birthday, bro. Happy
Appreciate
birthday.
it. Much love, bro.
Um,
Oh, but wow, what a time to have a birthday because the sports world keeps giving. It's insane. It doesn't make sense
it's
to me.
insane. There's no stop, and I love it. Before we get to sports though,
Yeah.
let's have the fun little debate question that we're starting to get into. Top three
Wow.
condiments in your opinion. Let's just switch it up. It's a little strange.
Okay.
Top three condiments. What you got?
You know, I feel like mine's gonna be a little bit controversial.
Okay.
If we're gonna just look broad picture, ketchup is not even in the top 10. I have to
Yeah.
admit.
Honestly, I agree.
Okay,
Ketchup is
cool.
very overrated in my opinion.
Thank you. Thank you. I will have to. I have to give my love to Chick-fil-A sauce. That's number one, hands down. Chick-fil-A sauce, any day of the week, any Tuesday, any Wednesday, I want it, except for Sundays because God bless them, they close. But that's annoying.
True.
And then number two, it's gonna have to be ranch. Ranch is gonna have to
Okay.
be a number two. And then number three is a little negotiable. Do you throw in buffalo sauce? Like
See, I
you know,
debated that. I
right?
debated, but is it really a condiment or is it more of a?
Well, it
It's kind
depends
of
how
like it's
it's
not
used.
condiment. Yes, true. You're right. You're
Because
right.
like some
I debate.
people,
Yeah.
I don't know. So and then like, do you put in barbecue sauce? Like,
Yeah.
does that
There's so
make the
many
top?
options.
And so for my number three, and this is gonna be you're gonna look at me like it's freaking stupidity. I'm gonna have to go hummus at number three, and let me explain why. If you
Okay.
haven't dipped your French fries in hummus, try it. That's all I have to say. Enough debate.
So
Hummus number three.
so as a fellow Arab, it's actually going to not come shock to me to hear you say that. Um, because they're in my top three, just not at three.
Oh,
It's higher
okay.
up on my list, really. But so
Whoa.
number one for me is honey mustard. Honey mustard's
Ooh,
amazing, no matter
okay.
what. I absolutely love honey mustard. And then I have hummus second because it's not just fries. I mean, you just get chips,
Chicken,
chips and
steak,
salsa,
whatever.
things of the past. Chips and hummus,
Yeah.
oh my god. And then number three for me is spicy mustard,
Ooh,
not regular
okay.
mustard, but spicy mustard.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Do you have any honorable mentions? Like any that were like really looking into that top three?
I mean, I had the debate with buffalo sauce as well because
Okay.
like, but it's just like, do I consider it's for me? It's more of just kind of like what goes over my wings. Like, I'm not just gonna be like, can I have a side of
Mm,
buffalo sauce if I just get fries? Like,
got
so
you. Okay.
barbecue sauce nowhere close for me. I think that and ketchup both are very just kind of out there, and they should not be in the top 10 for either people. But that's just my opinion.
I think that's one of
Um,
the very few times we've agreed.
yeah, yeah,
Ketchup was
yeah.
nowhere near us.
No, yeah. Chick-fil-A sauce, Polynesian sauce, those are
Ooh,
both those are debatable to go put
yeah.
top three. I mean, it's just you gotta pick three. So,
I
and
mean,
if
it's
if
got to go
people don't,
somewhere.
if people say hummus doesn't count, then Chick-fil-A sauce moves up, and whatever. But for the most
And if,
part, I think
also, if you don't say hummus counts, then you're unethnic and get
it's
cultured
true.
because
Yeah.
it is. It totally is.
Tell us where you live. We'll come have hummus with you. It's fine.
Absolutely. Not
Um,
Sabra crap though. I'll make it myself.
oh,
I would.
hands down. I
Yeah.
will personally buy ingredients for you. Um,
Well, dude,
listen,
we really agreed.
I
That
like
was I
that.
was
I like
shocked.
that.
I
Yeah,
was
I'm a little
shocked.
shocked. Now
I
let's
like
like
those types of
I
questions.
I think before we continue our happiness of agreeing, we should talk about things that we haven't agreed on so much, such as our brackets that are both in shambles. Mine a fair bit more than yours, I won't lie. Um, you're
Yeah,
currently taking a nice dub over me, I won't lie,
I think
but
it's like
it's not over
410 to
yet.
280, something like that, right?
It doesn't look pretty. I
However,
won't lie.
points they work it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know how
yeah.
they shout out to every upset that has screwed over so many brackets.
The world. I think
Yeah,
after like halfway through the first day, it was like two perfect brackets
I
left.
want to
Like,
say, yeah, I want to say the round of 32 like had maybe like 100 brackets that were still right, and then all of a sudden Kentucky was like, "Oh, by the way, I can't win." So, um, but we all had the Cinderella story wrong. Let's be
yeah.
real. No one had the correct Cinderella story, and if you did, you're lying. If someone said they did, they're lying.
St. Peter's.
But
Where did they come from?
yeah, wow. But I'm enjoying it. The games overall have been good. The number one seeds, in my opinion, the last round, there were some scary calls for both our teams, Arizona and Gonzaga. They both had some close calls. Baylor's out, so they're gone. So that's, I mean, whew,
Just,
it was, yeah.
I
Georgia
mean,
State
okay,
had them the first half also. Let's be real on that one. Georgia State and Gonzaga, first half we called it, but second half
dude,
Gonzaga was like, hi,
I think I
I'm back.
texted you during the
You
game. I'm
did.
like, oh no, like we
Yeah,
manifested
you're
this.
like this could be real fast. And I'm glad I didn't respond with just $10. That was what I was going to respond with, and I'm glad I didn't because now I would have been eating my words.
Because
What are your thoughts on
the
it all?
next game, Arizona, they were who are they playing? Oh crap! Whoever they're playing in the round of 32. I was gonna
Oh,
text you saying
to overtime? Yeah.
I was like gonna text you, and then I was like that dunk. But dude, what a tournament! I
Yeah.
mean, St. Peter's. I honestly is like Loyola Chicago place in my heart
Yeah.
because that
Oh yeah.
coach came out and said, um, I think after the round of 32, when they beat Murray State, saying like, "You think my team is scared?" Like,
Yeah.
I have people
I
from New
saw that.
Jersey and New York. Like, we are the ones that do the bullying on the court,
Yeah.
and they play like that. They play like they have no fear whatsoever. Love them. I was a little surprised by Gonzaga because they have been shaky, and like in the mass of like the top ranked teams, they haven't been playing like the top ranked teams. And I think a huge part of that has been the effects of COVID. This is the first tournament out of COVID. So those
Yeah.
seniors that would have that experience really
That's true. There
don't.
hasn't. Yeah.
And like teams like St. Peter's could go up against Kentucky and beat them because like, you know,
Yeah.
they're on the
That's a
equal
very
playing
good point.
ground. And I don't think people put that into perspective that this has been like there's been two NBA champions, two NFL champions, but this has been like the only March Madness. But it
Yeah.
makes the game so much. I feel like there hasn't been
Oh yeah.
as many blowouts, which has been really dope. Um, my biggest surprise outside of St. Peter's is just how just how dominant like the whole like Duke team has been. And I really I
Yeah.
really want to shout them out here because I think I
I,
talked to you about it the
you
day
did.
because you had Michigan State going pretty far.
Listen,
Um,
I was gonna mention that. Don't you worry. I was gonna bring that up. But
because they haven't had a great season. They haven't had
yeah.
a great ACC tournament. They haven't really been that good. But like, there's something about Coach K that I think, and I was talking to my cousin about this yesterday. They could win it all, and I know you could say
They
it about
could.
any team, about whatever. But when you really look at it, like they have the coaching. What were you talking about with Belichick? With like this is a little football, but Belichick with uh Mac. What's his
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones? That's his name.
It's
Mac
very
Jones.
simple name there.
We're all saying they have defense, they have the
Yeah.
players, but they also have the coaching, and they have the coach out of all the basketball. So
Oh yeah.
like, if you really look at that, he knows what it takes. His players might not, but he knows, and they're playing for him. And like, could this be a little last stand situation where they make a deep run? It
Yeah.
could be, and I think that's been the biggest surprise because I definitely did not think they could beat Michigan State. Um, so I don't know where have you been with all of it?
So I'll start with that game specifically. I thought Michigan State had it, especially in the second half. Like they came back, they were doing well, and I mean Duke took over in the end, and it sucks because they were my team. But props to Duke. But I mean Michigan State had their chances, and they collapsed in the end.
Yeah.
I'm very surprised that Michigan, your team, actually beat Tennessee. That one
Mm,
shocks me still. Like that was, but I didn't see Bailey going down, to be honest. Like that was actually one of the that went from being one of the biggest blowouts to not then two again because Baylor was down 25, I think. I think I saw to UNC, and then they came back, and then
yeah.
in overtime, it was just they just collapsed in overtime again. Like it was just too much.
It was a controversial
Um,
call though for them to even get back in
yeah,
the game. You know.
yeah. Like I haven't been able to watch every game, of course. It's difficult, but the ones I have and stuff, they've all been very good. Like, like you said, there hasn't been crazy blowouts. Like there's been like some like, hearsay things, but like those were kind of expected, the ones that were blowouts. I'm excited for the Sweet 16 and the Elite
Yeah.
Eight because I think those matches are going to be very good. And honestly, at this point, I really have no clue. Like either of our brackets could all of a sudden just like the few teams we have
Collapse.
left could, yeah, like it. It's quite possible we get to the Final Four and none of our teams are there. Like it's possible that we do. Given I've already lost one, but that's okay. Because I still can win it if
Yeah.
Arizona wins.
That's the big one.
That's the
That's what
big
it
thing.
takes.
Like, yeah, the later rounds get you more points in this weird system that
Scoring.
points that we have no clue. But yeah, but right now you are winning. I'm just excited. Like it's like you were saying, like there hasn't been March Madness in a couple years. And what I like about basketball in college compared to football, you don't just have the same five teams. Like you have your powerhouses, yes, but it's a one game system where you could have a bad game like Kentucky and you're done.
Yeah.
And if in NBA you have 7 games, so the better team should win. In college football, it's hard to beat the top teams even in one game. Like you might be able to do in the regular season, but in the playoffs it just shows like, all right, we're the big dogs. Like we're gonna get this. But in college basketball, it's possible for these Cinderella stories, and I feel like every year it's this new team getting the Cinderella story. Like at this point, Loyola Chicago, as much as they would be another Cinderella story, they've made a name for themselves of making these runs. So them getting knocked off first round to Villanova, I think, right? No,
Yeah.
no, they would have played them second round, I think. Or am I wrong? I can't remember.
Ohio State.
Um,
Ohio State.
Ohio State, yeah. So them losing to Ohio State, it was like, is it really to upset? Like, would have been an upset if they had won? Yes, because of the numbers, 10-7. But at the same time, they made this name for themselves before that of being able to make these runs. So like they're a team that's in every year at this point. So getting in, a new team to do that, I think is massive just because it shows like, okay, who knows what next year? Like next year you could have, I don't know, name a random church school from
From
Colorado or
any.
something. Like, yeah, like who knows? Like who knows from where it could go? Like it's so cool. And like I love the brackets, even though we're very wrong. It's so
Right.
great just because like so many people make these things and no one gets it right. No one.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing. It's just like if you're able to predict every match correctly, like go buy the lottery. Go, you are wow. Like just
A
wow. It's
superior
just yeah.
human being.
You time travel. It's simple as that. There's no way around it.
There's no
There's no
way.
way around it.
And you know
But
what, man? Even with this tournament, and something I've noticed because I've been going out to restaurants and different things just
yeah,
because people want to take me out for my birthday, whatever. And like my friends, like shout out Danielle, shout out Will, shout out Annalisa, who don't watch sports,
yeah,
love this. And like I was like, get ready for the madness. And they're like, what does that mean? And then it was like St. Peter's beat Kentucky. And they're like, how
yeah.
does this happen? It's a beautiful thing. And I think like you don't get that in football as much. You
You
don't
don't.
get that in
You don't. Yeah, not as
basketball.
much. Every now and then, but like it's so difficult to
Like every
truly
once
get
in a
that.
while you get the
Yeah,
Jacksonville that comes out of nowhere and like makes this run. I think that was
exactly.
2016. Um, but usually it's like, okay, Tom Brady's in the Super Bowl colors. Like
Yeah,
I've seen this. Or like LeBron's in the playoffs in the 7 game series,
yeah.
or even baseball, honestly, which is why I struggle watching it sometimes. It's just like
That's fair.
it's so
Yeah,
long,
'cause,
and
yeah,
it's the same thing with basketball. Like
yeah.
the best team will win. Like it's unfortunate, but with March
Most
Madness,
of the
it's like
times, correct. Yeah,
it's just like one game and Kentucky could be off, or like Baylor could be off until like just it's absolute craziness. And I think the games start back up tomorrow
I believe
or
so. Yeah, I think
Thursday.
Elite Eight starts tomorrow, or is it Thursday?
Thursday. So
Not
tomorrow
Elite
for
Eight,
when
Sweet
you guys are
16. Sorry.
watching this. Tomorrow when you
Yeah.
guys are watching this. So my question to you is, what's the game you want to see? I mean, you got Gonzaga, Arkansas, Texas Tech, Duke, UN, North Carolina, UCLA. The one I'm
Oh,
looking
that's
at, Iowa State against Miami, 11-10 matchup. Like Michigan, Villanova, Houston, Arizona, St. Peter's, Purdue. Like,
I'm still
which one are
surprised
you looking
Villanova's
at?
in. That just has me.
That's insane.
But yeah, if I were to look at the games, I think Providence, Kansas. being the 1 and 4 seed, it's going to be Providence has shook me. I didn't think Providence was going to make it, so they're kind of playing a proving point at this point. The 11-10 matchup of Iowa State Miami, who I think those are both very big surprises.
Big time.
That's going to just be. I feel like whoever wins that's just kind of that's going to be the end of it for them. I think Arizona had their scared game. I think they're going to go through and not route Houston, but I think it's going to be much more comfortable for them.
Yeah.
Villanova, Michigan's the interesting one because Villanova should win this one, but Michigan's on a tear right now. So,
and they're
we'll
feeling,
see.
dude. Did you see
Yeah.
the all the Michigan players tweeting at Wisconsin?
Yeah.
That killed me because of Juwan Howard slapping, punching, whatever you want
Yeah.
to call it, the Wisconsin coach. They were like, "Oh, so you guys win this, but we're in the Sweet 16." It's really funny.
Yeah. UNC versus UCLA. I think that's going to be a nice matchup just as a whole, just kind of big name teams.
Big time.
I would love to see St. Peter's knock off Purdue at this point, just to kind of make their run a little better. But
yeah.
That's a tough one. That's gonna be a tough one.
Purdue got it.
But
yeah.
They've knocked off Kentucky. They knocked off Murray State. Both are very good basketball teams, so it's possible.
Right.
Texas Tech versus Duke. That's gonna be a bloodbath, in my opinion. I think that's gonna go down in overtime, maybe even double overtime, just back and forth, back and forth. That's gonna be big. And then Arkansas versus Gonzaga. I think this is Gonzaga's. I was gonna say I think this is Gonzaga's scariest game. And Memphis almost beat them. Like Memphis, who barely beat Boise State. Well, not barely, but there was a close game at first. And Gonzaga gave up 72 points to Georgia State. Like if they didn't have that flurry in the second half scoring wise, because that would have been scary. And then, so that's my thing. Gonzaga's scoring big, but their defense right now is also letting up big.
I know.
Like they've let up 72 and 78 points.
I loved what Timmy, whatever his name is, said.
Yeah.
With the post game interview, the tweet was like he really had to filter what he said because he did heated. But I'm nervous. That's the matchup I'm worried about the most. Is that being my pick? Gonzaga has almost
it's also
both
interesting.
Of their other games.
Yeah, it's interesting because both of Arkansas's games have been close. And one of them was 71-75, the other 48-53. So it's not like they've been scoring a lot of points. So it's going to be interesting. But that's the game that scares me a lot for you. But also I wouldn't be upset if it happened. So but no,
dude, just what a tournament.
What a tournament so far. It's and there's still another 4 rounds of it. It's only get better in my opinion.
April 4th is the final day, so like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I loved how Draymond with Michigan State and Davidson with Steph, they had that little bet going on, like whoever wins the loser has to wear the like Steph Curry right now has to
just having to wear a different team.
Like mascot. Like this is what March Madness is. It's just madness on everyone feeling it, and it's just I'm excited. I'm super pumped.
Very much so. Same. And like you said, April 4th. That's less than 2 weeks away, isn't it? Yes, just under, because it would be that Sunday or Saturday. And then just over 2 weeks from now, we have opening day in baseball, and there have been some more trades, more signings, more excitement for me now at this point. Now that I've got over my Freddie Freeman being a Dodger and accepted that it is what it is. But I know that it's just gonna get madness. Because let's see. So since Freddie
I want
Freeman,
you to bless me. I want you to bless me with what happened.
Yeah,
fill me.
I got you. So Freddie Freeman, he goes to LA at that point, and then it kind of sat for a bit, and there was a couple like small deals here and there, like Tampa Bay swapped with the Dodgers a player. I'm not even sure. Luke Rayleigh, he's an outfielder. Okay. He wasn't playing in the Dodgers clearly. And then Corey Dickerson joins the Cardinals, $5 million contract, small one. Angels added a couple people to their bullpen. Will the Angels ever do anything? I don't know the best player in baseball, but at the same time, they just don't. Then the Padres acquired first baseman, I guess you would say, Luke Vogt from the Yankees,
Okay.
for a pitcher. So kind of even. And then this is where the little juice gets in there, a little salt for people. Dodgers steal Freddie Freeman. We steal your closer.
Ooh.
We Kenley Jansen, 1 year, $16 million contract, which I think that's a great deal. There was talks of the Braves trying to get Kimbrel back again from the Cubs, and it's funny because the Cubs, his last year on the contract, which is this year, is 1 year clearly left with $16 million. So they said, okay, you don't want to come back here. We're gonna pay Kenley Jansen the same exact money you're getting paid, and just kind of like I feel like it's like salt to the wound at that point.
Dude.
I think that signing right there makes the Braves bullpen the best in baseball right now, in my opinion. Not just as a Braves fan, but they are scary now. Like
Okay.
Will Smith, your closer, voluntarily gave up his ninth inning closing role. He was like, "It is what it is." Like to get a player of that caliber and like, it's scary. Like if our pitcher say our starting pitcher goes 3 innings and that's it, we have enough people in the bullpen to finish that game out with you not scoring another run. Like it's a scary bullpen right now. And a lot of people I've seen agree with that. Like it's a force to be reckoned.
I'm going to stop you right there because
That's why I paused. I saw,
Freddie
yeah,
Freeman, and then repeat his name, the one you said in the
Kenley
closer,
Jansen.
Kenley Jansen. Okay.
Yeah,
Because I've seen everywhere Dodgers scariest batting
yeah,
lineup. But when you say this, right?
it's a great counter.
Which one do you think was the bigger signing, the bigger trade at the
So
end of
I
the day?
think, yeah, I think purely because the Braves, while they lost Freddie Freeman, yes, at this point, most Braves fans I know were over it. We didn't lose first base to like, we didn't downgrade him first base. We
No,
got
yeah.
Matt Olson, who is, I saw somewhere today, he's like the second best rated first baseman right now.
Okay.
We got him as a younger, he has more upside. Like as great as Freddie is, like he's very consistent. You know what Freddie's going to do. Matt Olson, it's not a downgrade at all. So we lost the franchise person, yes, but we didn't downgrade. I don't know who the Dodgers are going to have as a closer now. So our lineup might not look as scary as the Dodgers, but I still think the Braves lineup is very scary 1 through 9, especially with the DH.
Mm,
Us getting their closer, it's big just because not only did they lose the closer, but he came to us. Like, and he, from what I've seen already, he's enjoying it. Like he's happy to be here. Players are happy to have him. Him and Ozzy Albies are both from the same country. I can't think of the name right off the top of my head, but so they're great buds. Like he's gonna have a blast here. So I think the bigger signing in this year specifically is the closer coming to the Braves from
okay.
those two teams. Um, and I think more or less just because also like if he does have like a little time span where he's not doing great, we have other options. Like we aren't going to be screwed where it's like, okay, we have no closer. We have other options in our bullpen to pick up the slack if needed. But I mean, from what I can tell, they're all very excited to have him, and the Braves are like, we don't have to bat against this guy now. That's even better also. Um, but that was a big one. Um,
And then I have another
and
follow up.
then okay,
In your opinion, right?
all right,
As of right now, because I want you to finish all of the signings, but you said
yeah,
someone got signed from the Yankees. I heard they were in the sweepstakes for Freddie Freeman. What is going on with the Yankees right now? And I know Aaron
yeah,
Judge is not vaccinated, so that whole thing, it's going to be another Kyrie
yeah.
situation
Um,
for baseball. What is happening with them, and what do you think is gonna happen? Right?
yeah, no, that's a fair question, and there haven't really been like big name signings for the Yankees, so I'm kind of just like, are y'all just content with what you are right now, and just hope that you know, you're gonna get into the playoffs at this point, just be hot from like you having the people you have. But at the same time, like you said, like if New York keeps their mandates up and stuff, that's a lot of games you're not playing.
Right.
Not only at your home, like not only your home, but when you play your rivals like the Mets and stuff, that's still New
You
York.
can't. You can.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so I think that's gonna be in the long run gonna become a major thing. And it's gonna be interesting because I don't know. I don't see the Yankees really. I feel like they're just gonna kind of do what the Mets do. They're gonna look good or great at times, and then just kind of fall off.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
because they just haven't really made a splash, and that is kind of the opposite of what their rivals, the Red Sox, have done. But that that was kind of like a yesterday. Yeah, yesterday was when they had the big splash. But um, before all that happened, there was plenty of other signings. The Phillies got a nice outfielder for about 100 mil.
Okay.
He's very good offensively, but defensively, the Phillies are horrendous. They are
Yeah.
not good, and so it's gonna be, can we hit our way to win?
Honestly, I hate the Phillies because Bryce Harper's a piece of crap. That's why we won the
Yeah,
chip
that's
without
fair.
him. So I don't
Yeah.
care. Just make him
And
suck.
then
But
unfortunately, the Braves did lose Jorge Soler, whose ball still hasn't landed from the World Series Game 6 to the Marlins. Not
okay,
sure why he went to the Marlins because they're not going to do anything, but he did get 3 years, 36 million. So the man got his money.
money. Okay,
Um,
can't
hopefully,
blame
if
that.
the Braves need, yeah, if the Braves need him, we took Duvall back from them halfway through, so they might give us back again. Who knows? But that's, he got his money. It was unfortunate because with with our team and even with DH, we had too many outfielders, so we weren't going to keep them all.
Yeah.
Um, the Cubs signed Drew Smiley, pitcher, 1 year, 5.5 million, 5.25 million. He was Braves pitcher. He did decent.
Okay.
It's a solid pickup. It's veteran, not crazy.
Like a locker room type of guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Detroit signed Michael Pena, 1 year, pitcher. I didn't even see that till now. And then this is where the big name came up. Then Carlos Correa signs a 3 year, $105 million contract with the Twins.
Ooh.
I did not see that coming, but I'm kind of shocked how short the deal is. Like, he got his money, but
Right.
3 years. Like, at that point, it's like, are you trying for that big contract later again? But I mean, that's going to help the Twins out a lot. Like, it's a great signing for them, even if I think Correa is a horrendous person just for who he is. But um, that's big for them. Then the Twins also signed a veteran reliever, Josh Smith, to a 1 year deal, so they're bolstering their offense and their pitching up. And then Trevor Story, another massive free agent, signs $140 million deal, 6 years with the Red Sox. So while the Yankees aren't doing anything, the Red
Red
Sox are
Sox.
landing big
And
name.
isn't that the first
Um,
series that they have? Isn't it Yankees
Probably, I
Red
think
Sox
so. Yeah.
opening day?
Um,
Okay.
so yeah, so those are all the signings so far. Which at this point, there's very few free agents that are big left. Let's see if I can even think of who's left while I'm looking at this. I mean, there's a few, but overall, those are pretty much the big ones. I saw as well, not signing your trades, but Major League did approve basically the Shohei Ohtani rule now, that if your pitcher is your DH, even if he gets pulled from pitching, he's still allowed to DH, which is
Okay.
huge for the Angels because he's going to be your DH and he's going to pitch because he can. Um, Actually, I did forget I want to say the Cubs did sign another Japanese player who's doesn't pitch, but his numbers offensively are better than Shohei's numbers actually. So that's
Interesting.
gonna be big.
Okay.
He's wearing 27 for Mike Trout in his press conference. He was like, "I love Mike Trout, so I'm wearing the number." Um,
Love that.
but yeah, I'm excited. Just over 2 weeks away. It's gonna be fun stuff though.
And
But
this is a personal question. My Nats,
yeah,
man, we won it 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, actually.
yeah, three.
Are they making any moves? Am I supposed to be getting my hopes up? Am
Besides
I supposed to?
Besides Nelson Cruz as their DH, which I still think is a massive move for them. I haven't really
Okay.
seen them make any moves. But that's a massive DH because if he hits anywhere how he's used to hit, the man hits bombs. Like it's not like just over the he hits tape measure shots. So
Okay.
um, unfortunately for the Nats, I feel like y'all are still just kind of you're gonna be. It's the NL East is packed. You got the Braves who have a scary 1 through 9 hitting. If our starting pitching comes up, it's very solid. Our bullpen's amazing. And then you got the Mets who have one of the scariest starting 5 rotation I've seen in forever. If they stay healthy, then you got the Phillies who can hit the ball, the cover off the ball, but defensively, what can they do? And you got the Nats who they could win stuff, but how much are you going to win? And then you have the
Right.
bottom feeder Marlins. So I think it's going to be a contested division either way. And I think once the season starts more, we'll definitely be able to see more, especially because we're in the same division. It's going to be a little more in-depth conversations about this. But for now, it's just been those signings really. They might have signed a few players here and there, but I haven't seen any big names since Nelson Cruz for y'all.
That's the last one I've seen. And you know what? When you were brought up the Detroit Lion, the Detroit, someone getting signed
Tigers.
by the Tigers, right? I was
Yeah.
talking about it earlier today. If you really want to win a championship, go to Detroit and leave immediately, because then you got
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford. You got so many people that have done it. Clayton Kershaw, Max Scherzer. Just for baseball, go and leave. You will win a chip somewhere where you go.
I actually saw a funny commercial that night. There was a commercial for a phone with Matt Stafford, and the lady was like, "All right, I'm going on vacation. You know what to do. Like anyone can turn an old phone, no matter what." He's like, "So you're saying if I've had an old phone for 12 years, I've loved forever. I'm going to love forever, but I could trade it in for a new phone and have instant success and love it right away." And I was just like, "Wow."
You need to send me this commercial right now.
I'll find it for you. I'll find it for you and send it because I was dying. This is.
Oh my!
But yeah.
I think that's the best segue, man.
Because
all of that's happening, and then NFL decides to say, "Hey, I'm still a thing."
Hi.
Again.
Hi, would you like some drama? Because oh my, did we have drama in the NFL?
Oh my gosh, where do we begin? Where do you want to start?
Wherever you want, because I have things to say about a lot of it.
Okay,
Clearly.
so let's start
Clearly,
off. So let's start with the QBs, because that's been the most drama from everyone. Okay.
Yeah.
There's so much to happen.
So many quarterbacks have moved around.
Like, do we go AFC? Do we go NFC? Like,
I think let's start NFC because it's a much smaller number.
Okay, let's go there.
Okay.
I think we mentioned this. Okay, the Commanders signed Carson Wentz. Let's start there with my team. Okay.
Yeah.
Am I expecting much? No.
No.
Am I expecting them to be able to win the division? Hell yes. And I'm going to tell you why. I thought about this a lot. We got JD McKissic.
I'm not going to lie. I am shocked right now with what you just said.
I am very high on this team, and I'm going to say why. First of all, do you trust the Cowboys?
I'm not even going to speak. I'm just going to be quiet now.
Patrick Mahomes went down the field in 13 seconds, but they can't snap the ball in 14. Like, I don't trust them. Okay. The Giants, could we just both agree? Doesn't matter.
Yes.
Really? Okay. Now the Eagles. The Eagles, I honestly think, are in a very, very similar position as us, where the Commander, I just hate saying them, but the Commanders, we have a good defense. They have like pretty, like, okay, not too bad defense. I know we lost Landon Collins, which is a huge loss, but that offense, our offenses are very similar. Run first, pass, play action pass. Yeah. The question becomes, do you trust Carson Wentz more, or do you trust Jalen Hurts more? And honestly, I trust Carson Wentz. Jalen Hurts, great player. I just don't trust the pieces around him. And because of that, I have to give the edge to the Commanders. And we just never know what you're going to get from the Cowboys. Are they going to go 13-3 and lose to the 49ers, or are they going to be 8 or now it's 8-9 or 9-8, whatever?
Yeah.
Can the Commanders get better? I'm honestly high. If I had to put money on it, I wouldn't. But I think that they could easily, the whole conference, like the Eagles were able to make it to the playoffs. Do I think the Commanders, with a healthy roster, with a healthy QB, because anything than Ryan Fitzpatrick, which I have the fear that Carson Wentz could be like that. I just think right now This is literally his last chance. He's going to ball up this year. I can
Okay.
see them winning the division, and that's my take. I don't know how you feel about that.
Not that, but I I just think the East is just a mess. I think I unfortunately it's kind of just one of those things. Someone has to win it, but
Yeah,
um I'm just not sure because you make valid points, but I don't trust anyone from the East, like at all. Like so I think for me, I just don't even think I could speak on it because I just don't know who would win, who's going to win it. Like you can have one week where the Cowboys are going to look amazing. Then the next
right.
week they're going to lose to the Eagles and the Eagles will look amazing, and then the Eagles will lose to the Giants somehow, and the Giants will lose to the Commanders. Like it's like, yeah, it's just going to be like what? So,
Doesn't make
um,
sense. Yeah,
I mean, they're
I
not
don't
going to
know.
make it out. Whoever wins the division isn't going to make it far because you got, we've already discussed these, but we'll quickly run through them all. You got Tom Brady, who's still in the NFC, unretired. You got
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers still in Green Bay, unretired or non-retired, but re-signed. You got Kirk Cousins, got an extension. Um,
yeah.
Jameis Winston extended in New Orleans. Is that
I don't know
good?
how I feel. Can I be
It's a
honest?
quarterback. It's a
It's a
quarterback,
quarterback. It's not Deshaun Watson, which we're gonna get into.
which
But I
that's going to
honestly
be a
have to say,
conversation.
Jameis Winston had the season up until he got hurt.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I feel like this conversation would be very different if he was able to stay
Yeah,
healthy. But
I do.
ACL,
I do agree.
that's tough.
Yeah. And then if we're
Let's
sticking in
talk
that
about your
division because
team.
yeah,
Let's talk.
we've mentioned two Marcus Mariota to the Falcons. Basically what we're doing is we are saying we're not going to draft a quarterback this year because none of them are worth it, but we also want to have someone who knows how to throw the football.
It's important.
So
That's an important position to
so
have.
that's what we have.
Yeah,
We have Marcus Mariota for 2 years for cheap. Um,
yeah.
and we're basically saying, listen, you were with Arthur Smith once. Do what you can. If somehow we make something, oh my God, I'll give you money because I'll be shocked. But like I
I
would
think
say
this
right
was the
now,
smartest pickup, though.
oh no, for what they like, once the drama of the Falcons had to appear, this was the best option in my opinion. I think you're currently right now the Commanders have a higher chance than the Falcons to win to make the playoffs. Which isn't
Ooh,
shocking because
yeah.
the Falcons are awful. But so yeah, while we're talking about my team, we might as well talk about the elephant in the room.
The
Which elephant do you want? Which elephant? Because there's two of them. Let's piss off our franchise quarterback by telling him we're going to go for Deshaun Watson. And then let's not get Deshaun Watson and expect him to want to stay. What?
You
Someone
start.
tell me
You start. You
why
start.
we did. Okay. Simple as it. Was it Thursday maybe last week?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, all right, Deshaun Watson teams that are in the running for him. You got the Browns, you got the Panthers, you got the Saints, the standard teams you expected. Then I all of a sudden see a tweet and a post start appearing sleeper team. And I'm like, ooh, I love a good sleeper team. Like I was excited at this point. I was like, sleeper team, Falcons. And I was like, I paused. I paused.
You
I thought
texted me
about it.
too that day.
I said, this could be amazing, but also what do we have to give up? And then I thought about it more and I said, there's no chance. Like there's no chance whatsoever. I was like, this was cute. We're just trying to drive the price up so the Saints or Carolina have to pay everything for him. I was
Right.
like, it's a great idea. And then I saw the post of Matt Ryan. I was like, oh wait, forgot we have a QB who's very good. Even if he's getting old, he's consistent.
Who verbally agreed to sign the extension, but because it
Yeah.
was before the deadline,
Yeah.
right? Something like this.
So this point I was like, okay, it was cute. We're a sleeper team, not gonna happen. Everything's gonna just, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow. Falcons out, never had a chance. Matt Ryan's still happy. It was all just here. Wake up the next morning, Browns out, down to Saints and Falcons, and I was like, what world am I living in? And I was like, there's no way in hell this is happening. I was like, there's no way. And then the rumors of even more came about. Atlanta, like famous moguls, different people in the rap world were like, bringing Deshaun Watson home. Apparently, Deshaun Watson personally asked to like speak to the Falcons. He wanted to come home, and I was like, "Oh God, it's happening. We're gonna give up our entire future for Deshaun Watson." And I was like, "It's quite good," because then I sent you the picture. I was like, "Not that I wanted this player, but Julio Jones wants to go where Deshaun Watson is." I was like, "Okay."
Right.
Gets a receiver. And then I saw another thing. I want to say Leonard Fournette and a couple other receivers even were like, if Deshaun Watson comes to Atlanta, we want to go as well. Clearly, that didn't happen. But so at this point, I'm basically like at work, lunchtime, checking things. I was like, okay, Deshaun Watson, Falcons still main running. All of a sudden, the Browns were just, here's 230 mil. Have my bank guaranteed. And he said, I would like to go to Cleveland. And I said, well, this was fun. We're screwed. Matt Ryan's going to be leaving now as well because he doesn't want to stay at a team that clearly doesn't want him now. And we just lost all leverage. All leverage. How do I know this? Because Carson Wentz was traded for 2 third-rounders. Matt Ryan was traded for 1 third-rounder. How? Please explain to me how that is possible. MVP of the league, should have a Super Bowl ring. Not could have, should have. Let's be clear on this one still. Should have had a Super Bowl ring. What?
For 1/3.
Please tell me. Also, would you like to know the pick in the 3rd round?
Yes.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay,
Because
the
score line gets to 28-3, more or less, when you look at the 3rd pick with the round. So I'm going to go cry more after we end this call. Please speak so I don't have to continue crying.
There's so much.
I know.
I'm gonna address the Matt Ryan
Please address it all because I need a moment to still comprehend the fact that my team is the laughing stock of football. Also, let's just throw this before you speak. Braves and Falcons lost their 2 franchise players in a week. Just saying.
I was gonna say the laughing stock of the league again because of the Super Bowl. But I'm gonna say.
Yep.
I'm gonna
say go for it. Yep.
The first one, Marcus Mariota. Okay, so Matt Ryan leaving, getting traded. I honestly
to the Colts.
think that's to the Colts. I think that's a great trade for him.
Oh my God,
I think
Colts are gonna do amazing. Don't get me wrong. I love Matt Ryan.
He's gonna do great there.
Colts are winning the Super Bowl. It is what it is now. Except put your money down. Down.
Yeah, I mean the Colts on the easy division AFC. I mean, if that's the team you want, that's the team to be reckoned with. Okay, Deshaun Watson. I have so much to say about this human being. So I'm not even gonna address that. Him not coming is the Watson effect. Completely understand all these people wanting to get re-signed, but really, there's so many holes on the Falcons where I just like even if they got Deshaun Watson and all these guys came, there's just so many holes.
We're in cap hell still. So while we have $40 million dead cap now for Matt Ryan, next year we are glorious numbers.
You got money.
I mean, glory. So like this has reset us so we don't have to go through another 12 years of let's push your contract back continuously. So yes.
Right. And then bringing in Marcus Mariota, I think honestly is just increasing your draft capital. You're not gonna win the division. That's okay. It's gonna be a rough few years. I'm a Lions fan. Trust me, I get it. But at least you guys are gonna start building because, I mean, Atlanta is a place where people want to play ultimately.
Yeah.
Because the city, because of the stars, like someone is gonna come there. You just need to get like the team around.
If we can get Bryce Young next year, everything is okay.
Huge.
Everything is okay.
I mean, you guys re-signed Cordero Patterson. That's huge. He's a great player.
I was surprised because why do you want to be here? We're not going to win. It just shows his love to the city.
And honestly, that's going to be something we talk about after all of this. Just the loyalty's gone in the NFL. Honestly, in all sports. And we're going to have to say something at the end. But let's address the elephant in the room. Okay. Like you said, Deshaun
Your
Watson.
Elephant, because I've mentioned my elephants, plural.
My elephant, plural. So first of all, this man, this human being had 20, was it 22 sexual
22.
allegations, and then 5 of which were civil, or 22 were civil, and then 5 were also
Yeah.
federal or criminal. Okay.
Criminal.
So the criminal charges get dropped. And I think we were on this podcast 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, something.
2
And I
weeks,
asked
something
you,
like that. Yeah.
does that mean that he could start being like, he could play? And we
And
weren't sure.
I thought no, but
We both thought,
it's
because
still
there's
not clear.
22.
It's still not clear. Yeah.
We don't know if this guy actually did anything, but somehow this man that doesn't play for a year gets to pick where he wants to go. Like, I want to go to this team. I want to go to this team.
Yeah.
And gets an $80 million raise.
Also, let's not forget while you talk, I'm gonna fill up what the Browns had to give up.
They had to give up 3 firsts, 2 seconds, and a third and a fifth, something like
I
that.
think that's right. Yeah. I just want to make sure. Oh my goodness, so many words. You go for it. I'm going to find it in a minute.
Okay.
Continue. Whatever you want to do.
Whatever it was, they traded the farm for this guy. Like,
Oh yeah.
the Houston Texans, although messed up organization, like, okay, you have picks. Like, honestly,
Yeah.
you guys need to get your crap together. This is the best chance to do it. You got rid of JJ Watt, DeAndre Hopkins, Deshaun Watson. What else do you want to get rid of? Get rid of it. Get rid of your owner. Get rid of your whoever you want. Like, hold on, your time is done.
Yeah.
But to the Browns, you lose all of this. I think we're honestly in all of sports. We're in this era of win now, which is what we have to talk about at some point. This win now era.
Yep.
Whatever. And honestly, Deshaun Watson going to the Browns, leaving everything. Whenever we're talking about Deshaun Watson, it's on the field and off the field.
Yeah.
Leaving off the field stuff off of it. This is the best fit for him. Baker Mayfield is not the guy. You have Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt in your backfield. Okay, you had Odell, he's not there, but
Jarvis, you just got Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper and Jarvis Landry was about to leave and looks back and he sees Deshaun Watson. What is he going to want to do? Where's he going to want to go?
He was going to come to the Falcons if they had signed Deshaun Watson. So he clearly wants to play with Deshaun.
And he's going to stay. They have a great offensive line. That defense isn't anything to sneeze at.
No.
The only thing they didn't have was a quarterback that could kick the ball. Okay, now you add Deshaun Watson. My issue is because the Browns were out of it. They were like this. I honestly think what was happening is the Falcons and the Saints were showing them what they're going to offer him. And I think Deshaun had to talk to the team before they could talk to Deshaun.
Yeah.
The team had to
so they knew what they would
getting. And then you talk to Deshaun about the contract. All 3 teams are offering the same amount of money. What was the one little caveat? Why did he say no to the Browns and then ultimately switches on them? Did you know that in his first year, he's going to get paid $1 million? So it's not a huge cap hit for them. He's still guaranteed 238 or 239 or whatever.
He's guaranteed all of it, every penny.
All of it. But what it's basically saying, you know what, man, we're expecting you not to play. So here's like a little bit just to get you going. But if you like for some way get to jail, like it's okay. You still have 240 million. Like even if you're a criminal or like you did all these 22 allegations, here's your $80 million raise. Mind you, he signed that contract 3 years ago. He became the highest paid quarterback. He played that year. They weren't that great. Then he got all of these allegations. He was the highest paid. He got an $80 million raise. The only time difference is that he had a bad season and did all these terrible things. What in the world? Like how the Browns honestly came out with this huge thing saying like, oh, we did our due diligence. Interview.
I mean, you had to, yes.
The attorney for the ladies didn't even get questioned. Like no one reached out, not a single team from the NFL.
Yeah, well, I'm saying it doesn't matter because until he's accused or acquitted, it all depends what the NFL chooses to do. If the NFL chooses to only suspend him for 4 games, that's it. The NFL will choose what to do once it's all done. So it's up to Roger Goodell, basically, which I'm just like absurd. But you were correct. 3 first rounds, a third
Couple
round, a
second.
fourth round,
Okay.
and a fifth round first. They swapped fifth rounds basically as well in 2024. But either way, you gave up the farm. And yeah, I think what mattered most is like you said, all of the money's guaranteed. If it wasn't all guaranteed, he probably comes to the Falcons. But because the Browns were like, here is our bank account. You own it now. Whatever you
Just
want to do
keep it.
after 1 year, yeah, it's yours. Even if you're in jail, keep it. It doesn't matter. We don't need it. Like it's fine. But wow. But since you mentioned Baker Mayfield, do you
Yeah.
think he gets traded now? Because he wanted to be traded before Joel Sean Watson even said that they were out. Before he basically was like the Browns out,
Yeah.
Baker Mayfield put his goodbye letter on Instagram for the Browns fans. He said, "I would like to be traded to the Colts." The Browns said no because they thought they had no chance. And then Deshaun was like, "Second thought, I like your bank account." And then the Colts were like, "We'll take Matt Ryan though." Does he get traded? Does he just get like? What do you do in your opinion? What do you do if you're the Browns in your opinion with Baker Mayfield?
Okay. And honestly, I have never been high on Baker Mayfield. I thought he was slightly overrated, possibly. I don't know how you feel. I
The second he told Georgia that they were done for in the Rose Bowl and then lost, I was like, "Oh,
okay.
you blew it. You had a moment.
Yeah.
It was nice. What moment now?"
Like he ultimately, when you look at his career, he kind of put the Browns in this situation to have to move on.
Yeah,
First year,
he's done.
kind of
He's done
shaky.
good, but
And like I get Hugh Jackson was not the best coach. So like you get a new one. Okay, Baker, who do you want? As if he has any say for the team. Oh, I want Freddie Kitchens. Okay,
yeah,
Freddie Kitchens, also terrible. Baker Mayfield, that was your guy. You told us to bring him here. And
yep,
this is who you bring. Okay, now you look at Kevin Stefanski, who's been doing phenomenal, but now all of this drama with Odell Beckham. So whoever Baker gets is gonna have to deal with this crap.
yeah,
The question, and I think the bigger question, is for the Browns, what happens to Jimmy Garoppolo? Because if you look at Jimmy Garoppolo and you look at Baker Mayfield, they're not similar players. Jimmy Garoppolo does his
no,
job. He
yeah,
actually has been to a Super Bowl. He actually has been making deep playoff runs, albeit his team was phenomenal. But
yeah.
I mean, who do you want? Like Baker Mayfield, who's going to cause all this drama, or Jimmy Garoppolo? And honestly, I thought Garoppolo would have been signed by now. The
Same.
biggest signing surprise was Mitchell Trubisky to the Steelers, which I'm
Yes,
actually
who
loving
we
that
hadn't even
pick.
spoken to yet. Speaking about, yeah,
It kind of snuck off the radar, but
it
like
did.
it's a huge pick. But
Yeah,
it's not even like Jimmy Garoppolo needs to be a starting quarterback. Does the 49ers think he could just be a backup? I don't want him to. I honestly
I,
wish though.
I think I
There's
think
not
they
a
know they can
team
get
out
too
there
much
that
for
wants
him to
him.
be a backup. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. No, you make
And
very valid point.
if it's wherever Jimmy Garoppolo goes, whoever is left will have to deal with. Honestly, at this point, I think Houston might just get Baker Mayfield, and I would be happy for him because
I
that's
that I so because of it being with the trade basically, it's possible. Um, I also though this might surprise you, but I could see Baker being traded before Jimmy still to a team that's rebuilding still.
okay.
Like, but more or less like at this point, like accept you're rebuilding, you give away something, not great. I would say you might give a second and a third, maybe. Like, okay, it sucks, but like I don't see you're getting that much for him. I could be wrong. I thought Matt Ryan would get way more than a third, but at the same time, so who knows? Like you could just, take Baker Mayfield, you have a decent quarterback where you could do stuff, but at the same time, like you could groom an actual quarterback. But that's also risky because if there's enough drama, what happens if Baker wins 9 games? You're kind of like, well, now I can't draft a high quarterback. Um,
Right.
but I don't know what teams are left is the problem.
That's
Like
huge. Right.
you have Philadelphia, who still technically needs a quarterback. You have Miami, who's not 100% in on Tua, but you would have to trade Tua away then. You have I can't even else. Carolina still needs a quarterback, but I don't see them making a move for Jimmy or Baker Mayfield. Houston clearly does. Like who's left? Like the AFC is so stacked now, so it's not the
They
AFC.
don't
You're
need any
coming
more. No more,
whoever it
please.
is coming to the NFC. Yeah, the NFC is the ones taking the quarterback. But it's wild right now. Like to think about the fact that we still haven't even hit the draft yet. Like there's quarterbacks that are going to be drafted by teams. Teams will
I
draft
know.
quarterbacks still. Like there's still people that aren't even in the league yet that will be in the next month or so. Like I just what happens if you trade Jimmy away also and then Trey Lance doesn't work out?
Exactly my point. I think everyone's so high on Trey Lance. They didn't play. Jimmy Garoppolo was playing hurt all last year, and they still
Also,
didn't play
there's
Trey Lance.
there's another quarterback that we need to speak of who's in Green Bay who's never going to get to play. Who's a backup who was a first round draft pick. When's the man gonna play? How is he not traded away
Exactly.
yet? Like you could just trade him away just for anything at this point because he's not playing.
A bag of chips. A bag of chips. I'll take that. I'll take that. More value to
Yeah,
the team.
basically, give Aaron Rodgers some food.
Well, I think that's a perfect segue because we need to talk about this is all happening, mind you. Baseball's happening, March Madness is happening. Freaking NFL quarterbacks are going everywhere. And we don't have enough time in this podcast to literally
We don't.
talk about the ramifications of all of this because we still don't know the draft. We need to see where all the pieces
Yeah,
fall, and then we have to address it.
and don't forget, there's another 21 people on an NFL field, offense and defense. Before someone tries to correct me, that have been signing places. There's other positions.
Let's just mention a few of them. The biggest one, Von Miller to the Bills.
Massive, massive contract.
Holy
Two,
crap.
that
Holy
might be my
shit.
favorite move of this offseason, honestly.
I love that for him
I
and the
love it.
city. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Such a baller move.
Also,
Win a chip.
while we're
Go to
while
the
we're
cold.
speaking of the Bills, did you hear the GM of the Bills? He said he would trade himself before Josh Allen, just so no Bills fan was upset and worried about Josh Allen being traded away. I was like, good call on that one, but keep
I'd
Josh Allen
rather
around.
die than lose him. Is basically
Yeah.
what that says.
Other teams though. So Rams lost Von Miller, but then you got a nice receiver, Allen Robinson.
You have three number one receivers. I know they traded Robert Woods.
That's true. Titans got Robert Woods. But Robinson, he's in Chicago. He's never had a great quarterback. He's never been. His potential has not been unlocked. I think there was also talk Robinson might have come to Atlanta if Watson had shut. But once again, Watson effect not showing up. He said, "Okay, I'm going to go to a team that can win."
Right. Right. Which happened pretty back to back, actually.
Yeah, roundabout.
That team is looking. I mean,
I froze just because I'm just like still in shock with it all, and then looking at my notes with the next one of Devontae, who we spoke of already, but taking shots at Rodgers, I didn't even notice that. When did this happen?
So
please inform me.
He came out and said, "Thank you to the city, thank you to the city and the fans for always supporting me. Green Bay, I love you forever." Well, he never mentioned anything about Aaron Rodgers, who he said
really
we both thought Aaron Rodgers would be the reason.
Yeah.
Like Devon, not a single mention.
Wow.
So it's a shot, but like not like in your face, like F Rodgers, but it's basically also saying that because like
Devontae's playing with this. Yeah, you should, but Devontae's playing with his college quarterback now, which I forgot that him and Derek Carr are boys.
Right.
Which I was like, oh my god, I forgot that. That's
the Raiders signed someone else. I'm forgetting who they signed.
I saw someone else today. Another receiver too, if I recall correctly. So it's
something.
They're trying their best to counter the AFC West because the AFC West is hacked.
Terrifying.
But I can't think of who. But also other signings. The Bengals have, before we even get to the offensive line, they signed Hayden Hurst, who used to be a Falcon, great tight end.
Yeah.
Speaking of shots, he took some shots at the Falcons, apparently also thanking the Bengals for signing him to truly use him to his full potential, unlike former teams have. And so I was like, oh, okay, that's a little awkward. But
okay.
But the bigger deal is the offensive line that the Bengals have been stacking. I know there've been trade signs, but their offensive line looks good now. And that's
Huge.
a big deal. Yeah.
Back to my Commanders pick about how they could win the division. They signed Lyle Collins from the Cowboys.
Yeah.
They're already struggling running the ball.
True.
That's huge. The
Yeah.
Bengals, honestly, could win it. Like, again,
They could,
they have
but
the
I
protection.
also I also could see them taking a step back though from like a Cinderella year basically and having
Okay.
a great year, but more or less just not making the full run just because the AFC is so stacked. So I could see them winning, but at the same time, I could see them kind of having a third year quarterback where you take a step back from the Super Bowl Cinderella run. Not that they're not going to be in it, but I think that it might like next year. Super scared for the Bengals to win it all, like super in on it. But this year, I just feel like the AFC is so stacked, and I really think that not just because I love Matt Ryan, but the Colts. That's gonna. I just feel like there's just so many options. Russell Wilson wants to prove himself. Matt Ryan's like, yo, let me win it. Um, the Bills are like, yo, we're still here. The Chiefs are always like, hey, we're Chiefs.
Yeah.
There's yeah. So
But the
it's
big thing to mention is so you're talking about the AFC West, Russell, Derek Carr, Patrick Mahomes, um,
Josh
Justin
Allen.
Herbert.
Am
Then
I
you
missing
got
out? Yeah.
the AFC North, Deshaun
Yeah.
Watson, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson. I'm not putting Mitchell Trubisky on that scale, but like the whole team with the Steelers, I'm putting there.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Coming out of the AFC East, you got the Bills, you got the Dolphins. Let's see what they do. Maybe they sign someone.
Yeah.
Maybe they draft
Yeah.
someone. Maybe they get a Jimmy Garoppolo, who they've been
It's insane
pretty
what
decent.
might happen.
And then the Patriots. Okay, the Jets. Okay, that's like a team.
Well,
Whatever.
someone has to be bad like the Falcons.
And
So,
then you have the Titans, and then you have the Colts, and I think that's the rest of the division. All of these teams, I think when you do it 4, 8, uh, 10, 12 teams out of a
yeah.
16 team the conference could make it to the playoffs. That's
Yeah.
huge. And when you look at the other side of it, like two, maybe three teams. Let's see what happens with everyone else. You got the Packers, you got the Bucks, and then you have to throw the Rams
Yeah.
in there. They just
Because
won
the
the Super
Bucks
Bowl.
re-signed Leonard Fournette to what was it, 3 years? I think.
A
I want to say 3
3 year.
years.
It's a solid deal. He's proven that when he's healthy, he will perform. Like
Yeah.
I love that. It's
Um.
there is a Watson effect. This is the Brady effect. Now all these question
Yeah.
marks. These people are going to come back.
Will Gronk come back? Whatnot? I know I saw something today that he posted. That someone posted. It was like Gronk wants to make Brady sweat, but I know Gronk also has said he wants to play with Joe Burrow, and then the Bills also want to sign him. So it's like, do you stick with your trusted friend who can get you there, or do you go with this young blood who could get you
Could
there just as easily? Like, so
yeah.
I'm intrigued because it's like you said, the draft hasn't even happened yet. We still have more players that can sign and whatnot. Because also like not big name, but like you said earlier, Cordell Patterson re-signed with the Falcons. The Falcons signed a former Georgia linebacker or rusher from the Giants.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name right now, to a
I know
1 year
you're
deal.
talking
Just they kind of
something
prove
like
it.
that.
Yeah, so it's just like smaller things like that aren't the big name teams or something, but like draft still has to happen. Who knows if there's gonna be some crazy draft day trade and whatnot. There's just so much still to go. Like we're so far from the NFL season starting, but yet we have had so much happen.
So much.
Um,
So this is a question. As we're
okay.
kind of rounding off this whole, like this was a heavy trade talk,
Oh yeah, lots
signings,
of trades.
all of it. And this is something I've been thinking about, and I want to know what your thoughts
Okay.
are on it. In terms of all these teams with big signings, like the Dodgers
All right.
getting Freddie Freeman, the I don't know, the Lakers signing all these different people. It's this win now mindset. The Rams signing all these people
Yeah, yeah.
during the season. What do you think? Do you like this? Do you think this is good for sports? Do you like where are you at with this? Like even to an extent, Messi going to PSG, if we're going to include
Yeah.
all sports, that's
I was gonna say yeah, because I was gonna say because if you talk soccer MLS, it hasn't really happened but outside of the U.S. for soccer, it has happened.
right.
Well, I think it's good if you're just a general fan of sports because you get to see crazy teams play each other. Yes, But if you are a fan of a team who wants to see your players play, I think it hurts. Given, like I said, like with the Braves, like we didn't fall off. Like we traded away, yes, but we didn't fall off. Falcons, we fell off hardcore now.
Yeah.
So it just been like you have to accept that if your team's not in the win now mindset, that you are going to be bad. Like there's no like unless you're the NFC East, because it's somehow y'all are all going to go 8-9 or 9-8. But everyone else, you're either good or bad. There's no in between about it. And I personally don't think it's the best because it's at this point it's like you were drafted a team, you're supposed like I get like you if you want to play for a hometown. That much I get. But other than that, it's like where's the loyalty as you mentioned? Like where
Right.
is the loyalty straight up to money at this point? Because if it's up to money, it's not like Matt Ryan wasn't getting money. So Matt Ryan was like, all right, I paid my dues. I want to win a Super Bowl, which is that's fair. That one I don't fault. But like these other ones, like like LeBron going to Lakers when he did, he was like, okay, I want to win a championship because I won one in Cleveland. Why stay and win more for my hometown? No, because I want to go where I can pretty much win one for sure.
Right.
It so if you haven't won one, I think it's different. So Matt Stafford, Matt Ryan, these trades where they could win or had just Brady going. All right, I think Brady going didn't start it because the Bucks weren't in win now when Brady went. They became
Also,
win now
just for
once
the
he
record,
arrived.
LeBron wasn't in a win now situation when
Yeah,
he went to the Lakers. Just so like he knew he
that's
was
fair.
going to get one.
Okay.
I just wanted to say they
Yeah.
had to get AD. Just my
Yes,
goat.
but
I have to protect him.
you
I have
knew
to
that was
protect my
happening.
baby.
The second he went.
That's the LeBron effect, like the Brady
Yeah,
effect.
I know,
Yeah.
but that's the point. Like you weren't in win now, but once they arrived, you became win now because of who
Right.
they are. So I think this plus adding NILs in college, which I'm happy for players to get paid in college. I think it's made it much more of a money mindset over not championships because that's the goal still, but I think it's more money now at this point over doing it for the city, which is why like having Cordell Patterson stay here, having Trey Young voice that he wants to win the championship for the city so badly, like having players that are superstars, in a sense like trying to stay with their team. Given will they? Who knows? But I think in the long run, it's gonna hinder younger players coming up because it's basically gonna be like, all right, if my team is bad, I can
I
just
could just
cry
demand a
and demand a
trade.
trade. Yeah,
Yeah.
which
Ben
and
Simmons.
it's yeah, and it's I think in baseball it's not necessarily the same because you can't. No one has demanded a trade. All these big names were free agents. Freddie leaving was about a 6 year. It was about money. People told him not like they're like if you want to be a Brave, just be a Brave with what they offer you because you're not going to get a better deal. Like, but he clearly wanted to have a 6 year and a little more money overall, but less over like with him specifically at least. So is it good for the sport if as a fan to watch great you're watching better teams play?
Competition and
Yes.
everything.
Better games though, that's the debate because if you have all these super teams, like the AFC this year is going to grow great. NFC not so much. So it's
Right.
like at that point, do you start doing kind of what they do in soccer where you have multiple tiers where you have the top tier division and then you have the second tier and third tier division. And if you have the crappiest team, aka the Jets every year, you're gonna get lower down.
Right.
Like it's a thought. It would never happen,
Right.
but it's a thought. But what about you? Do you think
I hate it.
that
I hate it so
yeah,
much. I mean, why was the Cincinnati story so huge? Right? It was they did it the right way and they were ahead of schedule.
yeah,
The who's the other one? Miami. The I believe when they were bouncing between Ryan Fitzpatrick and Tua, his first year, like
yeah?
they came out of nowhere. They were ahead of schedule when they still had
It
Brian
was like
Flores.
what it was like, yeah, Jacksonville's the one year they did. It was like, what you're not supposed to be here. Um,
Right.
but yeah.
Memphis. Memphis was huge. Like John Morant, that one
The
star.
Hawks
People
last
want
year in the
the
playoffs. Yeah,
Hawks.
like yeah,
Um, even Boston to an extent. I know they've been in it every year, but they haven't really like,
yeah.
hey, like except
Yeah,
for
exactly.
5
Like I said,
didn't work out. Like
yeah.
But now what you're going to get the Nets that could just say, oh, Ben Simmons is crying from the Sixers. I want to go here. Oh, Harden's mad here. He wants to go there. Okay, Matthew Stafford, I love the guy to death. But like the team, what is the Detroit Lions supposed to do? I'll give you 2 firsts, the this and the this and the this and the this,
That's what
and
I'm
a
saying. Yeah, like you can't
quarterback
say
that's been
no.
to this. How do you say no to that? And also Matthew Stafford, why would he not want to go? But
It's yeah.
it's like you said, there's going to be the top tier teams, and like when they face the bad team, okay, we know who's going to win. Like there's no way the Jaguars are going to beat the Rams or the
Yeah.
Chiefs. There's just no way possible. It's just
Maybe in the regular season, but if in the playoffs, you know who's winning those games. Like because regular season they might be like, we're 10-1, we can lose a game.
right.
But in the playoffs, no. So yeah.
And when you brought up soccer, and I think this is the most we're going to talk about soccer, let's think about Bayern Munich in Germany. We know they're always going to win the league. There is no way. But when
Yeah.
is a team like Dortmund comes up out of nowhere,
Yeah.
has Lewandowski, has all these guys that came up from the club, they start doing well. Or Leicester City and uh, the Premier League.
Yeah.
Comes out of nowhere with Jamie Vardy, who worked 2 years before that in a freaking factory. Like you don't get stories like that. Now you get Messi signing at PSG. You get
Yeah.
Ronaldo wanting to go to the United.
Because
Even though
the
they've
other
been
thing,
sucking.
the other thing with soccer is like this. Like so, say like you said, Dortmund starts this massive thing. It was like when they had Christian Pulisic for the U.S. as I mispronounce his last name, I always do. Once he got big, what does Chelsea do? All right, here's money, done.
Here's money,
Like
take
the
it.
big names, just money, 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 and it's just, and that wasn't just him. It was like, all right, like I mean, I get it. I would, as a soccer fan, if I had a chance to play for Chelsea,
All
Real
these
Madrid,
big
Barca.
teams,
Oh my God,
Barcelona.
100%,
Right.
100% would do it. But and there's nothing we can do about it. And I will always love sports, so it doesn't matter in the long run. But it makes it like, am I going to go to a Falcons game this year? Unless
No.
you come in town and say, let's go to the stadium, I'm probably not going to go.
Or if
Because
they're
why would
facing
I?
like a good team,
Yeah, like
alternatively.
I'm like, I mean, everyone at this point is better than Falcons. Let's play the Jets.
I hope Detroit and the Falcons play. We have to go make that game happen. We
That's
have to
fine.
put.
At that, the score line might be 2-2 in the end.
We might be
It's
in the
possible.
tie.
Honestly, like at that point, like they might be like, all right, what fan wants to run on the field? You, and you. All right, what position you want?
Me and you
I'll
will
take
sign up.
QB.
We'll sign up.
At that point, literally, yeah, but you want QB? Go ahead. Mariota, step aside. Like it's tryouts. It's
Yeah,
tryouts. Like
it really is. It's a JV team.
yeah. So and over this next week, I'm sure things are going to quiet down a bit just because all these big names have already happened, which I'm okay with it because like I need myself to sleep a bit. Like I can't have to wake up to your voice memos of I'm sorry. I know you're crying right now. It hurts too much every time to do it.
Now you
I
know my
love you
life as a
for it.
Commanders and Detroit Lions fan.
Yeah, it's true.
it's
Now I know how you feel. This is what
it's
life.
not
This is
good
what life feels like. Wow. Okay. Wow.
for us
But I am
bottom
double
feeders.
champion still, so it is cool.
Well, I think on that note, let's see what happens with March
Yeah.
Madness because we are, which is going to be the bulk of next week. Next week
Yeah.
is going to
Well,
be mostly March Madness. It will be 3 days or something, 4 days before the Final Four, and
yeah. So I think
all of
we'll
that.
remake our brackets then. We'll see.
We'll see
We'll
what
remake
happens
if
this
needed.
weekend. Yeah,
If needed, yeah. We
if Gonzaga and
hopefully I don't.
Arizona are still
Yeah.
in it, just,
Yeah.
just cross
But
everything.
remake brackets. We gotta talk some NBA next week because we didn't really talk any this week, and the playoffs are coming April 12th, April
12th,
13th.
the play-in tournament,
So
12th
yeah,
to the 15th.
so
April
those are coming
16th
up.
is the first round.
Yeah, so luckily we have some time to talk that still. But I mean, definitely want to talk about that. Next week baseball will be 1 week away, basically, a week and a couple
Right.
days, because it'll be April 7th is opening day. I think we still have a couple more weeks until the next draw for Champions League. Maybe depending on the week's call, we could, maybe this weekend we can watch the F1 race and see if we can actually figure that one out. I know it started back up. Yeah, I know it started back up. I want to try to get into that, but we'll see what happens with that. I'm trying to think what else that
I think
whatever
at some
chaos
point we're gonna have
happens.
to talk about Chelsea being almost regulated just because their team
Oh,
is Russian
speaking
and
of
they're
soccer,
yeah.
World Cup qualifiers, the last round to determine who goes is happening this week and next week. So that's actually big too. USA has 3 massive matches to determine if they go or not. So
We're gonna have
yeah,
we're
it's
gonna
gonna be
do our
packed
part to
already.
keep up. We're gonna do our
Yeah,
part. Maybe we'll go back and forth depending on trades and all these other things that will happen. Maybe we give you guys a quick one so it's a little bigger, like easier sample size so you guys can take in because
yeah,
I
yeah. I mean, like
I don't
if
know
we
if
miss
we
stuff,
got any feedback from like the time if they want it shorter if they want it like quick
yeah,
segments.
I
I mean,
I'm hearing I'm hearing good stuff overall from y'all.
cool,
We appreciate all the support
and we
still.
love you guys for that.
Keep it going. Keep telling us what to do better if there's stuff. What you like, what you don't like. Please, all feedback's good, even if it's very negative. But
Yeah,
um, until then, we'll see y'all next week. We'll be back Monday. Because Wadi will not have another birthday unless for some reason he
I was
doesn't tell
adopted
me that
and
he has
I
two.
didn't
But
know.
yeah. But no, we'll be back next Monday. So just under a week. With another one.
Another one, and check out our logo. Check out our logo. It's pretty
Check the
fresh.
logo. Tell your friends.
Tell your friend and be on the lookout for some TikTok and Instagram posts
Yeah.
and from between now and next week.
And we'll see you guys soon.
Peace.
Peace.